Hey friends, Jake here with the Brave and the Boys, and today we have the privilege of reviewing the awesome, amazing SANDMAN Morpheus Helm Masterpiece Edition. I want to give a huge shout out to our friends at Organic Price Books for giving us an awesome discount on this set and helping make this video possible so that we could review it for our channel and review it for their channel. We're going to dive in, we're going to look at some of the art of the book, we're going to compare it to the other editions, and we're going to give you our thoughts on if this is the definitive set for SANDMAN. Before we get started, I want to remind you all, if you want to buy 1 to 3 books from Organic Price Books, you can use the code Braveboys to save $2, or if you're buying 4 or more books, you can use the code Braveboyssit to save 5%. I'm really excited for this video. I've had my eye on this set for a really long time, and I never thought owning it would be possible, but JP and David made it possible, so thank you so much, guys. Let's dive in.
Deep within a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden beneath its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom.
So up first, let's show you what comes in the box. So today, we are showing off the direct market cover. So there are I said cover because I'm used to there being direct market covers and non-direct market covers. This is the direct market edition. So the DM edition is gold or copper or this kind of like off bronze. The standard edition helmet comes black. Fortunately, I usually like to buy multiple editions of things. I couldn't afford to buy both editions of the SANDMAN Masterpiece Helm Edition, so we have just the DM to show off today. But what comes included? So you're going to get 6 leather-bound hardcover books. You're going to get the titular mask, and you're going to get not 1, but 2 bone noses, horns, tusks, whatever they're called. So you get a short bone, which is you, and you get a long bone, which is who she tells you not to worry about. And if the bones are confusing, you also get your bone instruction leaflets, which helps you connect the bone nose piece. You get a brand new SANDMAN story told in the format of a letter to Dora, and it has like a cool wax binding. You know, we'll do B-roll so it looks nicer. Let's open up that letter. So this was written by Neil Gaiman himself, and it's a full letter. It's a little story. Not gonna read it here, but if you want to see the whole letter read, you can watch David's video and his amazing rendition of reading the letter, which I'll link here. And lastly, you're going to get these awesome art prints. Now, we did have the question of what were the sizes of the art prints. We'll measure them and we'll find out. But you get a nice collection of art prints. Again, I'm not sure if any of these are going to show off. We'll probably do them all in post. Honestly, I think it's super cool. I'm a SANDMAN junkie. I own SANDMAN in like a ton of formats. So this was a really cool thing to finally own. I remember when it first got unveiled, I was like, I had just finished collecting the absolutes and I was like, wait, do I need to collect SANDMAN again? But honestly, this is a super, super cool edition. I will say, if you are wondering, does it fit into a calyx cube? Thankfully it does. This is where I should cut in like B-roll of me sliding it perfectly into a calyx. The only thing is, it is a little harder to reach the books. You might have to pull the whole thing out to get a book out, but you know what? We'll see if I can get the book out. But it is going to be all of SANDMAN in 6 volumes. So you do get SANDMAN 1 through 75. You're going to get the prose version, and you're going to get SANDMAN Overture. And it is just super cool to have such a unique collector's edition for my favorite series. And I'm just super honored to get to be the one to make this video for you guys. Let's jump into comparing it to the other editions, and then I'll go to the questions that were sent in and try to answer as many of them as I can. Then, for those of you that don't know SANDMAN, we'll flip through the book, show off a little bit of art, and tell you what makes this series so special. So, we are here to answer the most burning question, which is, what size are these books? Now, I know if you're looking at this, they look pretty in height to the Omnis, and that might trick you into thinking they are oversized, but I hate to break it to y'all oversized book fans. That is because the helmet raises them up, and when you set this down, they are just standard trade paperback size, but they're still awesome. It's the original format SANDMAN was created in, the original size. And I think think they're really cool. I mean, there are pros and cons to each format, and if you want to see us dive way deeper into the best format to collect Sandman in, you can watch one of our earliest videos. Be Kind, it was like maybe our 3rd video, which was every Sandman format ever. We'll link it here. But I just want to kind of walk you through some of the different ways you can collect it. The easiest way to collect Sandman is the trade paperback box set. This is the extended edition, which includes Overture. So you can find this on our sponsor, Organic Price Books website currently. So if the price changes, I'm sorry if this video gets out of date, but currently the price is $145. So that's going to get you all of Sandman in standard size, and it is an awesome way to go. Here we have a facsimile edition of Sandman 1. This is just for fun, pretty cool. I would not recommend going down the rabbit hole of trying to collect an entire 1 through 75 run of Sandman in originals. That'd be crazy to do. We have the omnibus route, which is a lot of people's preferred ways. So on our sponsor, you can currently find these for about $90 a pop. That brings you to about $270 for a full set. These are awesome because they're oversized and they're not a ton of volumes. So volumes 1 and 2 are going to be the Sandman run, and then volume 3 will have the extras like the Prose edition or Overture. And I believe it includes Death also. So an awesome way to go. I will say though that the one thing that stuck out to me as a con for this is there was some gutter loss. So that is just something to, that's why I thought the deluxes were cool. Then we have, which was my favorite way to collect it, the Absolute edition. So the Absolutes are going to be volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can find these ranging anywhere from about $75, $85, $90. I think it's pretty conservative to say you can find a new set if you're a little patient, maybe for $500. I know Organic Price Books has a couple of the editions. Some of them are out of print. That's what's hard about the Absolutes, is you kind of got to play the long game to get them all. So 1 through 4 will be Sandman 1 through 75. Then you have volume 5, which has the prose and some of the side stories. Then you have Overture, which is my favorite. I wish I could get the gallery edition someday. And then you have Death, which is obviously the stories with his sister Death. So all amazing ways to collect them. If you want something simple, there's this. And this is something awesome that I like to have if in case a friend wants to borrow Sandman. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say, let me pull off my Morpheus Masterpiece Helm Edition from the shelf and you can borrow it. The Omnis, maybe that's something you can let someone borrow, but I would feel much safer saying, here, borrow one trade paperback at a time. You can read it. Once you're done with it, you can give it back to me and we'll get you the next one. But now let's move on to the one that we are here to talk about today, and that is the Masterpiece Helm Morpheus Edition, or the Morpheus Helm Masterpiece Edition. That is going to be 6 volumes, 1 through 5, collecting Sandman's 1 through 75, and then 6 collecting the side stories, the prose, and Overture. So an awesome way to go. The thing is, though, when you're looking at extras, besides the other accoutrements that came with this, such as the letter and the art piece, the art prints that you can't get anywhere else, there are no actual extras in the book. So if you're huge into extras, you might not be satisfied with the trade paperback editions or the Helm. That would definitely be something that would lean you towards the Absolutes, where you're going to get the biggest amount of sketches and scripts and all of those extra goodies that are just, really enticing. That being said, though, it is hard to compare this to other ones because, none of them come with a really badass Morpheus Helm, you know what I mean? So it has a really cool stand, and this is just something that, it's hard for me to say that this should be your one and only set of Sandman, but honestly, at this price right now, it retails for $500 MSRP. Organic Price Books had it at $350, and I think currently it's on sale for $315. You can also get $2 off with our code Braveboys, so that brings it down to $313. And when you look that this is $270, this is $313, it's not that much more if you don't have a Sandman set. If you're okay with the standard size, if you like the leather editions, and I'll throw in some B-roll showing off how cool the individual editions look. And this is a statement piece. I mean, all of these look good on your shelf, but nothing compares to how this looks on the shelf. It fits in a Calyx cube, and it's really cool. They are also going to have ribbons like the Absolute editions, which are really cool. I mean, if you shop at Organic Price Books, I'm sure you get the free bookmarks that they throw in with the orders, but it is really nice to have ribbons built into the book. So if you want standard size in hardcover with a cool helmet, ribbons, and you're okay with the side extras being the unique things that are not in any other set, such as the letter and the art prints, this is the way to go. And pricing wise, it's really attractive. It's cool that you can own all of Sandman for a little over $100 here, but it's not like as impossible as it was to collect all of the absolutes as it is to buy this set or the Omni set. So no matter what way you go, you're going to get one of the greatest, if not the greatest, comic book series of all time. And if you want it in a once-in-a-lifetime Ultimate Collector's Edition that can't compare to anything else, the Helm Edition is the way to go. Okay, now to answer some of your submitted questions. So someone wanted to know, what is the height from the bottom of the base to the top of the book? And you're looking at 11 inches. Now the width of just the books is 6.5 inches. So if you someone did ask, what if you just took the books out of the helm? You'd be looking at 6.5 inches across, and from just the bottom of the book to the top of the book, about 10.5 inches. So 10.5 inches up, 6.5 across. So now for the depth of front to back, it's going to depend on what bone is in. So right now we have the short bone. I'm going to call it like 18 inches from front to back. And if you use the longer bone is 7 inches. The smaller bone is about 3 inches. So at about 4 inches if you're using the longer bone. Now we had questions on the sizes of the art prints. All of the art prints are the same size. So the art prints are 10 inches by 13. They're 10 by 13. So you do get 5 of them, and they're 10 by 13. Let's flip through and show you some of the art. Open it up. Sandman Book 1. So Sandman starts out because some members who are interested in the occult want to capture the god or goddess of death. So they do a ritual to try to summon the Lord of Death, and they get the Lord of Dreams instead. A lot of funny things start to happen when the Lord of Dreams gets kidnapped. And I do want to point out one thing. It is the new coloring that you get on the absolutes. So this is the old coloring. With the Lord of Dreams imprisoned, a lot of funny things start to happen around the world. And when Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams, finally does escape, he's missing 3 powerful items that he has to retrieve. So the early issues of Sandman are kind of like a quest to retrieve these items. We'll jump ahead. Here you see the Lord of Dreams meeting Lucifer. And I love this panel. You just get to see all the lords of hell, all the demons. Morpheus has to do a really cool battle with one of the demons. And it's cool. It's like they're battling with concepts or ideas. Like, I'm a wolf. Well, I'm a wolf hunter. Things like that. So that's pretty cool. Sandman isn't always main issues, which you'll see here. I think for the first couple issues, Neil Gaiman was figuring out Sandman and what it was going to be. And I think that this issue, the sound of her wings, is when he figured it out. So here you have the beginning of kind of the interlude between the first and second arc, where Morpheus doesn't really have a specific quest. He doesn't have a specific driving goal, and he's just kind of a little apathetic, a little depressed. So he's visited by his sister. So his whole family are known as the Endless. Each one of them is a different personification of a concept, like delirium, destruction, desire, destiny, death, dream, and you get to see a day in the life of his sister. And she is just an amazing character. I think for most people she's their favorite character. And you just get this awesome meditation on life and loss, and it's just, you just get to see some incredible moments, and they just feel so real. So to me, that is when Sandman starts to really get special. The thing you're going to notice about Sandman is that not every story takes place in the main continuity or the main timeline. It jumps around. Sometimes there's stories within stories, sometimes there are fables, and that's because stories and dreams are different throughout different cultures, different species, different animals. And here you get to see a fable of when Morpheus fell in love with a queen. And it's maybe not a happy tale. And what's cool about Sandman is you don't realize how these one-off stories fit into the bigger puzzle until much later. So this might seem like a one-off story, but it does hold more impact later on. So those were some nice interludes between the arcs. And then we start the Dollhouse, which is kind of the first overarching arc, first overarching story. And you meet a lot of interesting characters. It got some good horror elements. You get to meet some awesome characters. And you get to meet some cool villains. We're going to come up next to one of my favorite stories. The story of, it's called Men of Good Fortune, where he first meets Hob Gatling. So essentially, a man's boastfully talking in a bar about how he's never going to die. The only reason people die is because everyone's always done it. And Dream and Death over here, and they make a little bargain. They essentially allow this man to become effectively immortal, never age, never die. And Morpheus will meet him at a bar every 100 years to hear about his life. And his life has ups. Sometimes he's amazing. Sometimes he's wealthy. He's got a great family. Other times he's a penniless beggar. And you get to see how this man is able to deal with the ups and downs of life, of being a immortal human. And you get to see how they change. And he becomes a more important character later on. Oh, this is an awesome character. This is the Corinthian. He's basically the one who has inspired tons of serial killers. This guy right here was supposed to be Disneyland, but I don't think the lawyers let him get named that. I think that's enough to show off for the first book. I do want to show off the ending, though. And show you how there are no extras. You essentially get this, which is a Sandman reading guide. And it shows you some of the other Sandman stories. But yeah, no specific extras. Let's jump into another one. I really don't want to spoil much of the main storyline of Sandman, so we're going to jump ahead and look at some of the extras. Extra stories, I mean. And this one is The Dream Hunters. And what's cool about this is this isn't so much a comic book as it is an art book with a prose. And you get both versions of this storyline. So this is what makes up the fifth absolute. And you just get this gorgeous, gorgeous artwork and this amazing story told in prose. And I don't want to get too much into the spoilers of the story. But if you're like, hey, I don't read prose, I don't have an interest in it, you also, in book 6, get the story told in a comic format. So this is just different than anything else that's done in the medium, and it is incredibly, incredibly special. Let's jump ahead now to book 6 and show you some of the other interesting things that this comes with. So book 6 is going to be the Dream Hunters again, but this time instead of it being the prose, it's going to be the traditional comic format of it. And I think it's cool that you'll get to read the same story in different mediums, because just like dreams are told in different formats, stories are told in different formats, and it's cool that it gives you both versions. So that's the first half of book 6. The second story that you're going to get is the prequel story, which you're actually supposed to read after you read the traditional story, which is Sandman Overture. And Sandman Overture has my favorite art in the Sandman format. It talks about what led to Dream being in a weakened state, so he could potentially be captured by mere mortals at the beginning of Sandman 1. And the art by J.H. Williams III is amazing. And what's cool is it has these special fold-out pages that I want to show, if we get to one. Also, him being voiced by Mark Hamill in the live action was just incredible. So here's one. I tell myself I am dream of the endless, I am dream, and I am prepared for whatever awaits me. And look at that. So, I will say that as much as I love Sandman in the traditional size, these fold-out pages really shine when you're looking at the absolute or if you have the gallery edition. But still super neat that they included the foldouts. And yeah, it's just such a cool book. Just make sure you're very careful when you flip from this page or fold away from it. But yeah, I can't go over how much I love the art in Overture. But yeah, that's gonna bring this video to a close. We're gonna jump into my final thought. And that's gonna bring this video to a close. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you so much for supporting Jordan and I. It means the world to us that we get to make videos like this. I want you to comment down below what your preferred format of Sandman is, or which version you'll be picking up. It would mean the world to me if you like, commented, and subscribed. If you ring that bell so you can get notifications. I want to give you guys a shout out. There's a link to the Discord down below. We have Brave and the Boys merch. I'm not wearing one right now. I'm wearing a Batman t-shirt, but it's still cool because Batman's awesome. And I want to remind you that if you want to pick up any of these sets at Organic Price Books, you can save $2 on 1 to 3 books using the code Braveboys. Or if you're buying 4 or more, you can save 5% with the code Braveboyssit. Keep reading and stay brave.